Vietnam War was going on. And I had my student deferment, but if you dropped out of school, you become 1A right away. So I had to drop out to work during the summer. My scholarship paid for my tuition, but not my room and boards. So I had to work during the summer. So anyway, that's how I ended up in the Army, which I did not complain about, because I had 5 brothers who all went into the military. Air Force, Navy, not the Marines. I wish one had, but that's okay, because they didn't go into the Marines. That made me become a paratrooper. So I could one-up our brothers, because nobody else was a paratrooper. So I became a paratrooper, still 19, but, still green behind ears. But my country had called me, and I answered, and I was going in. And I even knew that all the paratrooper units were in Vietnam. So I wanted to go into Vietnam. I thought, if I'm going to be a soldier, I'm going to be the best I can be, and I'll be a paratrooper on the front line. That was my thinking. So I joined, and I was with the 173rd Airborne Brigade, which was assigned to the central highlands of Vietnam, kind of a rocky coastal area, but we were responsible for that part of Vietnam. Basically, hunting and searching for Viet Cong, destroying their ammunition, taking prisoners, destroying their food supply, cutting off what they were getting from the North, because the North Vietnamese supplied the Viet Cong, and that was our job to stop that. So we did search and destroy missions for months. This is my platoon, kind of raggedy bunch of guys, but we were from all parts of the country, south, north, west, black and white, it doesn't matter. Let me just share some little sidelight here. This was a very difficult part of our country's history. In the 60s, there was a lot of turmoil, a lot of political division, a lot of race riots, a lot of assassinations. Not unlike what we're going through in the Somalia right now, the division of the nation. But we came together as soldiers. All of us were paratroopers. We had all gone through jump school. We had all gone to this elite form of military training, that we went beyond the normal to become paratroopers. So here we are in the middle of Vietnam. This is taking about 8 months into it. By then we're kind of raggedy, but we're surviving. Then we got a call. I'm in there, I just wanted to show that I was in there. Kind of hidden in the background. I was a radio operator, and I carried the radio up. And I was right by the lieutenant who had to call in air support or helicopters. So my job is just to be footstep with the lieutenant. So that was me. So we walked it's just walking nonstop. The war is just basically maneuvers, bivouac, sleep overnight, walk again. 5 miles this day, walk another 10 miles that day. It's what we did for 8 months. On the 8th month, we got our captain got an order that our unit was going to be moved to another area because one of our units was under severe attack. And our job was to go in and to relieve that unit that was within our 40-mile area of responsibility. So we watched as helicopters would go and drop bombs on this hill while jet planes were coming in and bombing this hilltop that they were going to take us to. So we thought, man, there's nothing going to be left on that hilltop, because that's exactly where they're going to fly us in helicopters to land. So we watched that whole hilltop being totally deforested. And then the next day, it was our turn to go from that hilltop, where we would get all our equipment, everything we needed to go into the valley the next day to take on the North Vietnamese army and relieve our brothers that were there. So it took about, 4 or 5 hours to get everybody up on this hilltop. It was easy by then. And that night I was on guard duty from 1 to 2 in the morning. And we had time to make little poncho huts in case it would rain. So we're all in all of the huts. I got waken up at 1 o'clock in the morning and said, hey, Jonesy, it's your time for guard. Everybody had 1 hour of guard duty. So I was up, I came out of my little hutch, and the first thing that struck me was the sky. I had been in the jungle for 8 months. I hardly saw the sky. And here we were on this cleaned out hilltop, nothing there. And from horizon to horizon, I saw a billion trillion stars. It was a moonless night. And I thought, my goodness, somebody had to make all of this. I mean, it was almost took my breath away. So I said the most sincere prayer I had ever said in my life at that point. I said, I didn't even say God. I just said, you who made all of this, can you please not let my 2 buddies get killed in the morning? That was my prayer. I had 2 friends who had gone through basic training, airborne training, jump school, everything together. And here we are in the same unit in Vietnam, same platoon. And I just prayed that God would keep them from getting killed in the morning. Because a lot of casualties had been taken. There were tons of casualties. And we were the next unit to go in. So I prayed for them. And we went down in the morning for sure. Not a scratch from these 2 guys. I got wounded. I didn't pray for myself, so I got wounded. I was shipped off to Japan for 2 months in the hospital to recover. I kept in touch with him. This guy got married. Like, he talked about his girlfriend all the time. And he invited me to his wedding in Yonkers, New York, when I got back. But there was that connection. It was that connection. Let me fast forward. I'm going to go fast forward. I'm back in the United States. I'm back now. My hometown was Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. After being at home for a while, I came back to Milwaukee to finish my school in the NSOA. So I'm back in Milwaukee, back in school, catching up on life again. I'm playing a game of pool at the student center, and the guy beats me at a game of pool, and I thought I was a pool shark. And he beats me, the student guy. I thought, this is it. He got my attention. Then he says, what are you doing on Wednesday nights? I said, well, I watch TV and I do my homework and just hang out. He said, I would like to invite you to a Bible study. The split second he said Bible study, I was back on the hilltop in Vietnam. Just like that. And I thought, yeah, I'll go to the Bible study. The only reason I said yes, because I figured I owed God a favor, because my 2 buddies weren't killed. So I said yes. I'm going to pay God back. In my mind, I said, I'm going to pay God back. He didn't know that I was coming just to pay God back. So I come to the study. Study starts at 7 o'clock. I get there at 7:15. Even a little shaky in my promise to God, but I'm going to pay God back. I come in the door, and it's packed out. Every seat is taken. People on the floor, and there's no seats. And I'm thinking, well, I couldn't say I came, but it was too crowded. But I'm thinking, I gotta pay God back. So I just came in the door, saw the situation. First thing though, I thought, there are no black people here. Remember, this is during the civil rights upheaval in the nation. And I thought, this is a hostile crowd. So I'm gonna stay right by the door, and as soon as this thing is over, I'll turn the doorknob, and I'm out of that. They want to know I've been here. So I'm sitting there, actually, I'm kneeling, and my back is against the wall by the doorknob, really right there. So I'm just sitting there. I don't have a Bible, so I'm really filling out of it, but thank God, I'm paying you back. I hope you're watching this. So I'm sitting there, and then what hits me first is that the guy who beat me at the game of pool is leading the Bible study. I think religious people could play pool. That was my thinking. Oh, that's pretty cool. Then the next thing that strikes me is they start talking about prayer. And I begin to lean in a little bit because I know that God answers prayer. That's why I'm here, paying God back. So what strikes me is that their prayers are small prayers. I prayed on a hilltop in Vietnam that my two friends wouldn't get killed in the morning. They're praying for little, in my mind, little things. I mean, somebody's aunt is sick and she needs some dental work done. Some guy was praying about how God helped him get to a test because he was nervous about it, but he prayed and God answered his prayer. And so I'm saying, wow, they're praying as though Jesus is right in the room. I prayed looking at the creator of the universe, and now in this crowded apartment, they're saying Jesus is here and he can answer your prayer. So I thought, wow, I never experienced anything like this. But I'm going to stay here because I promised God I'm going to go to this Bible study. So the Bible study ends, and I'm right by the doorknob, and all I had to do is turn that one click out the door, but I wasn't fast enough because people gathered around me. Total stranger, black guy. Hey, what's your name? Where you from? And I'm still on the floor. Yeah, I just came because he invited me, and I'm shaking his hands, and you know what? It was genuine. It was genuine. They didn't have to do that. They literally walked, some of them came from across the room to shake my hand. And I thought, so, this is what Christians are like. Because they're showing kindness to a stranger, a real stranger. So I decided to come back the next week, only because they made me feel welcome. That I felt like my buddies in Vietnam, because they really liked me, and we could connect. They connected with me. They wanted to know about me. They wanted to be my friend in a sense. So I began to watch. I still didn't have a Bible yet, but I could sit there and watch, and I could see they were genuine. And then I saw some of the guys during the week at school, and I know their walk matched their talk because they were living correctly at the school. And I just watched, and I kept coming back to the study, and eventually I made a commitment to Christ. Still didn't have a Bible, but I prayed, and I accepted Christ in my life. And I did go buy a Bible. And the Lord had been blessing my life ever since because of that commitment. My sins have been washed away. He gave me new direction and purpose. Of course I had difficult roads ahead. We all do. God doesn't promise us an easy ride. I had my ups and downs. I had my deep water experiences. I had my dry experiences. I had my wilderness experiences where I didn't know which direction I wanted to go in life. But through it all, God is God. And Jesus says he's the good shepherd. And he will guide you. Just trust and obey. So that's my story. Now you see the backstory. This is how God is so good. One of the things that happened when I came back from Vietnam, when I came back to Philadelphia, it was such an unpopular war that my brothers had put up an American flag on our house and a sign that said, "Welcome home, Johnny." Everybody calls me Johnny, my brothers. But they had to stay up all night to protect the flag so it wouldn't be torn down. And then my mother hid my uniform. So she said, I didn't want you to go into the streets and insult it. But that was the climate at that time. It was hard. And that carried it with me. I really did. Because, unappreciated, kind of harassed. Then my youngest son, Danny, encouraged me. He said, Dad, we gotta go to this. You gotta go to this honor flight. And I tell you, I went. Because I think it may bring up memories. But here's the thing. When I came back, this is what I came back to. see, there's no Republican or no Democrat. That's America, folks. That was America that I was willing to die for. I get emotional when I see that. You see, my mom and dad didn't get to see that. But my grandchildren were in the crowd, and they saw America at work and appreciation. And this is what America is all about. We remember those who went to work for us, who were faithful, who answered the call. I have to stop this because I'll keep crying. I had to stop it because in the last time I spoke, I lost control. Because it's so emotional, because it was a healing for me. It was a healing for my family and for my grandchildren. I want my grandchildren to inherit an America like that.
Yes.
Not the bombs and the ripping flags down and the name calling and the riots and the crime.
Wow.
They want to see the good part of America. Okay. So on this Memorial Day, of course, some of my guys didn't get back. But in my heart, I said, I'll do justice to your life by being the best citizen I can be. I told my boys, they were asking in the last election in April, I said, Dad, you're up so early for the voting. Yeah, because I need to do justice to the lives for the guys who can't vote, who can't keep our, they can't be into our nation. They can't be doing what was said on those monuments in Washington. Guard your liberty, be involved, serve your nation. That's what we need to do. And that's what the young people, the next generation needs to know. That the young generation, the 30-somethings, said they've been blessed so much that they're kind of just soft and they don't sacrifice. They don't know what it means to endure hardship. And sometimes we have to educate them because life isn't really video games and text messages. You have to protect this nation. You have to vote. You have to put the right people in power. You have to be guided by prayer. You have to do the next right thing. We have freedom to do things, but the freedom to do the right things. Freedom doesn't give you carte blanche to do anything. You have to do the right thing.
Amen.
As America, we've been so blessed. We always need to do the right thing. And that finishes my talk, Dennis. I think my time is up.
Thanks, JJ. Hoodie's Clinics. Thank you for speaking your story and truth, and your testimony is so powerful. Thank you for doing that. I don't know how the VA is going to follow this, but I'm going to ask the Chaplain Allen and Laura to come up to give you some background.